Time now to take a walk on the wild side in Australia's largest collection of rainforests. These are the Gondwana rainforests bordering far northern New South Wales and southern Queensland, home to an exotic range of bird life and some great adventures. First impression on the forest floor is just how lush it is. Mother Nature has turned on all her charm to create grand old trees centuries old, decorated by a collection of fungi that speaks volumes of how cool and damp it is beneath the canopy. These rainforests once covered most of the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana and remain the most ancient type of vegetation in Australia. It's in the thick of these rainforests that this lodge has been built by the O'Reilly family. There's a memorial here to Bernard O'Reilly, who left from here to stage one of Australia's greatest rescues after a passenger plane crashed and disappeared. His great-nephew is Tim O'Reilly. Tim, your great-uncle Bernard, quite some man. The authorities had given up, the search had been called off. He acted with intuition, saved these men.
Yeah, it was quite a story. The plane was thought lost at sea. The search had been abandoned, and 9 days after the crash, after talking to his brother and his friends in the valley and getting a bit of a different idea than what he had heard on the radio, he set out from here and found the men here on the 9th day after the crash.
One of the great survival and rescue stories of Australian history.
No, without doubt. I think you can compare it in a lot of ways to a lot of the modern survival stories that we know of these days, but the fact that the people were given up for lost for over a week and to be found about 800 kilometres from where they were thought to be, it was certainly big news back in 1937. But what he did was, even to me, and I'm quite used to the bush, it was quite awe-inspiring.
From the O'Reilly family guest house, Tim O'Reilly sets out to show me some of Gondwana's treasures. Tim, sensational, these Gondwana rainforests?
Absolutely, Greg. There's so much diversity here. If you're interested in nature at all, it's not just the rainforest itself, but everything that lives in the rainforest, the birds and the mammals, even the noisy cicadas that are here at the moment.
You're an O'Reilly. Makes you something very special up in this part of the world.
Not too special, but luckily for me, my family came here as dairy farmers back in 1911, and the national park was then declared around them a few years later, so I'm very fortunate to be in this position now where we live surrounded by this beautiful World Heritage rainforest.
One way to explore the canopy is on a purpose-built boardwalk the O'Reillys have erected high in the treetops.
A lot of the action in the rainforest happens here. This is where the trees are fruiting, where a lot of the fruiting birds are feeding, and a lot of the smaller insectivorous birds as well feed up in the foliage and in the canopy. So when you're on the ground, it's a bit frustrating not being able to see it so well. So Peter O'Reilly came up with this great idea of easily accessed in the canopy. Yeah, it's a great place to be early in the morning. That's when there's most activity here, and to get right up into the top of the tree, it's a fantastic way to start the day.
For that true bird's eye perspective of the rainforest, there's an even higher lookout, reached by a series of ladders. We clamber another 15 metres to the top of the highest tree, a strangler fig wrapped around a rose-leaf morera. Great climb and a great view.
Yeah, it's quite a spot. Certainly some of the largest trees in the rainforest, and you can see it as you look across here. The hoop pines are the tallest, but these figs tend to be up above the rest of the canopy as well.
Back on the forest floor, our trek takes us to some very special trees. This one, a giant brush box with a hollowed centre large enough to walk through, has been given its own name. And Tim, some absolutely huge trees in this rainforest, like this brush box.
Yes, Greg, these certainly are the largest trees around the girth anyway of any tree in the rainforest here. And they're really not typical rainforest trees. They sort of germinate around the edges where there's more sunlight. So seeing these huge brush box trees inside dense rainforest, they're really remnants of when the forest was more open here, and the rainforest is actually spread out through them. They often hollow out in the centre, but they can still live on for hundreds of years. Despite that, the outside of the tree continues to grow, and there's some big brush box that were dated in this area at 1,500 years old, so they're certainly some of the old men of the rainforest.
And The name, the wishing tree, you've given it a name.
Yes, the story goes that if you make a wish on the way through, then it's guaranteed to come true, Greg. So if you want a new car, whatever.
New yacht, new car. Wishing. From the wishing tree, our immediate wish is to check out some other remarkable trees. A strangler fig with roots so powerful it holds a giant boulder in place. And a towering Antarctic beach. Tim, with this magnificent Antarctic beach, we are looking at what was once part of Gondwana land.
That's right, Greg. This very species here has been found in fossils in Antarctica when it was part of Gondwana with all the other southern continents as well, and it has close relatives today even in South America.
So proof that Australia and Antarctica were once part of Gondwana land.
That's certainly one of the pieces of the puzzle anyway that points to the joining of the continents back all those millions of years ago.
It's not only majestic trees that make these rainforests so appealing. Life in all forms abounds. Like these creatures found in the streams that flow through here.
The Lamington spiny crayfish, a little cray that's unique to this area. They get to at least twice that size, and they're quite common through the summer months in the streams here.
As you'd expect in a rainforest, rainfalls are heavy. Some 800 millimetres, almost 3 foot of rain each year. Well, Tim, it's a bit like Australia's Iguazu Falls. There's falls everywhere you look here.
Yes, Greg, it's a very wet, lush part of the national park. All these creeks are spring-fed from the highest parts of Lamington up where there's about 2,500 millimetres of rain a year, so they flow pretty well all year round.
And Tim, a very hot day. Water's looking very inviting. I'm up for a swim. What about you?
Yeah, after you, mate. I'm straight in.
OK, in we go. It looks cold, and it is. And that sure is a fast-flowing current to swim against. Exhilarating, though. We end our first encounter in the Gondwana rainforests at sunset. Next episode, more adventures here. When next we travel Oz, the underground settlement of Kubapidi. Home is way below ground. Dig into the wall to find $1 million opal. Gems of another kind in the South Australian capital of Adelaide. The two Tims will take us there.
Yes.
And back to the Gondwana rainforests. Bird life of exquisite beauty. And that is this episode of Travel Oz. I'm Grainger. Happy travels.